In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your video podcast look professional with blurry backgrounds, what lens to use, and even talking about lighting. All right, let's get started. All right, before we continue, today's video is sponsored by Libsyn, but more on them later. Whenever I shoot a podcast, one of my favorite things to do is get that nice, creamy, buttery, blurry background. I know a lot of people don't really care for it, but I love a nice blurry background, and it makes the video look a little bit more cinematic, in my opinion. It just looks good and professional. And the way that I like to achieve that look is by using a lens like this. This is the Samyang 50mm f1.4, and I'm using the Sony a7C. So as you can see here, we have a great separation between the host and the background. They are extremely well exposed, well lit. One light source again. So we're gonna move over to the other host, and you can see they are extremely in focus. Background is just really interesting. And here's the wide shot. So here's how the wide shot looks. And for the wide, I'm using a 16 to 35mm lens shot at f4. And that's going to just allow me to have each guest in focus, but the background is slightly out of focus, but not as much as compared to the solo cams. I love this combo. I've been using this combo for a very long time. This is one of my favorite looks, as you can see right here. This is a great lens for podcasts because the viewer's eyes go exactly where they should be, right on the guest or the host. No distractions. You can see the background. You can definitely see the background, but it's not something that you're going to be like paying attention to. You're just focused on whoever's in focus. So let's talk about the second thing that can make your video podcast look professional. And that's obviously lighting. Lighting is going to be the thing that helps you light things up or give your podcast a particular look, literally. And the thing is, my lighting setup for podcasts is very simple. I only use one light. I only use one light. I use the Godox VL150. It is a 150 watt light, and I strictly use a lantern softbox, a modifier that pretty much spreads the light everywhere. It's not a parabolic where it just shoots in one direction. I don't have a light for each host or guest. I use literally one light, and the lantern allows me to spread the light everywhere. I normally shoot podcasts in small rooms, so a one light source with a lantern modifier is plenty. Having a soft light source is going to definitely help you. And the way you achieve that is by adding a modifier. Like I was saying, I use a lantern on my light, which is a modifier that softens the light. And I never really have the light directly in front of me. As you can tell, the light is pretty much like right there. It's not directly in front, and it's not completely off to the side. So it's at like a 45 degree-ish angle. I wish I had my protractor. I haven't had a need to use a protractor, and I'm 36. Like, I haven't used one in forever. And I feel like when I was a kid, protractors were everywhere when I needed them. But that's not the point. But yes, so as you can tell on this camera, this side of my face is pretty much dark, and it gives it a nice character, nice mood, and nice tone. I remember when I started getting into like photography, videography, and I would watch these old school videos, and they'll talk about 3-point lighting. You need 3 sources of light. You need a main light, a key light, this light, a hair light. Yeah, for sure. Those are definitely needed. But in most cases, I use one light. That's pretty much all that I need. And a lot of times we get so bogged down on what we need because of industry standards. But to be honest, one really bright light with a nice modifier is enough. So why do I claim this style or look to be professional? Well, first of all, I can repeat it. I can do this over and over and over again, multiple times. And Another reason why I love this look and why this is professional and why I want to share it with you is because clients have booked me to get the same look. Not once, not twice, not thrice, not 20 times. I have done over 100 podcasts using 2 Sony A7Cs for the shot for the host, for each host, if it's a 2-person podcast, and a Sony A7 IV and a Sony A7S II. The fact that I can repeat it over and over again makes it professional. And my simple setup of just one light, since I am a one-man band, I don't have an assistant, I don't have like a producer or a gaffer guy. I am the gaffer guy. I'm the gaffer Gil. I do all of this by myself. So I try to make sure that my setup I can set up very quickly. I can break down very quickly. I know what works. If I'm having technical issues, I would know what to do. I can earnestly and pretty much like easily tell you, this is a professional setup. This works. So one quick tip that I want to talk about is we talked about how we can make our podcast look professional, but it doesn't make any sense if we have a professional looking, professional sounding podcast and no place to host it, which is why I'm happy to talk about today's sponsor, Libsyn. Libsyn is the best place that you can host your podcast. So you record your podcast and you upload it to Libsyn, and Libsyn sends the podcast everywhere. That's from Apple, Spotify, everywhere. Try Libsyn today and get 1 month free when you use code GIL. All the information you need to sign up for Libsyn will be pinned on the first comment on this video. So yeah, that's my setup. It's very consistent. It's very simple. I love having the ability to just pick up and go, and my camera setups and these lenses allow me to do that. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and I would love to know what your video podcast setup looks like. All right, thank you so much. Have a nice one. Peace.